edX, Coursera, Futurelearn and Iversity are four of today's leading platforms regarding MOOCs. Each platform has its strengths and weaknesses, but all of them display various university courses from all over the world. edX and Coursera are US-based, while Futurelearn and Iversity are European. Almost every MOOC course on these platforms uses video as form of knowledge communication. This video abstract asks the following research questions. Do the video styles vary significantly between edX, Coursera, Futurelearn or Iversity? Overall, what are the most common video styles on these platforms? A dataset of 448 MOOCs has been collected from edX, Coursera, Futurelearn and Iversity, sampling the course video each. Each video was manually evaluated for binary core variables based on previous research studies, and additionally specified with variables from media studies. Only variables which can readily be captured as yes or no were considered in the evaluation. To further make qualitative sense of the dataset, a series of interviews with experts was conducted.
Does this need to be a video? Do you have something to show? And often I think if you don't have something to show, or you're not trying to sort of use video as a medium to build a relationship between the educator and the learners, then sometimes maybe question if video is the right medium.
The talking head is by far the most regularly used video style, rightly followed in combination with presentation slides. Hansch et al. 2015 point out that a talking head can evoke monotony. They propose to use multiple camera angles and edit it afterwards. This can create a classic problem known in film studies. A so-called jump cut is created when the framing of two shots edited together is too similar. Jump cuts are known to confuse the viewers and used for this purpose in professional editing. This effect is even stronger when a speaker stands in front of a monochromatic surrounding space, which is another very frequent feature of MOOC videos. Frequently, talking head and a presentation slides are used put together by montage. Guo et al. 2014 highlighted the problems for viewers to follow the content created by such visual changes, going back and forth between speaker and presentation. Yet, we find that this is exactly the most common video style in our sample. When comparing the results between the platforms, some striking differences can be found. In particular, Futurelearn is an outlier in several ways. For example, edX, Coursera and Iversity use the video style of slides with a visible speaker more frequently. The highest rate is found at Coursera with 46%, in contrast to only 3% on Futurelearn.
To simply present PowerPoint slides with a picture-in-picture, I'm personally not a very big fan of that at all. One of I think the really interesting ideas around that is if you're just presenting sort of picture-in-picture slides with the small talking head, that small talking head does not really add much. In fact, I think in some ways it really detracts, right? Because then you're asking the student to choose, do I look at the slide? Do I look at the person? And if this is an introductory course, they may not have the expertise to know when I should be focusing on what.
One could speculate that the dominance of video styles with slides, with or without speaker, is a result to be expected. After all, slides are the most common teaching material in today's live classrooms too. Nevertheless, the video media offers a lot more strategies for knowledge communication than classic presentation slides, beyond a simple replication of classroom presentations.
I think it's very easy, a trap that academics teaching MOOCs for the first time often fall into is thinking, okay, I know what a lecture is, and that's what will be filmed. The video material actually could maybe be better written. We know that if there is nothing actually visually stimulating in a video, quite often learners will just read the transcript and not watch the video. So it's a If you don't need to actually see something, then why is it a video?
When you ask an academic or a professor of some kind to produce an online course, their immediate thing is to think about the kind of way they perform in the face-to-face space. So they're all trying to kind of mimic a presentation in a lecture theatre, even if that's not them physically standing in a lecture theatre, although quite a lot of them were. So the lecture still feels quite strong in all of the styles of them. And I think that's a real shame, because actually, I'm not sure the lectures as a teaching and learning model, I don't think it's that good anyway. And yet, why are we trying to copy its conventions and take it through into the online space?
In a lecture theatre, in front of a blackboard, is my least favourite, because it's trying to replicate a very different experience, especially if there's not an audience. I think, if you film a lecture and actually is an audience and you hear questions and it's well produced, that's fine. But it just often, I think, can look lazy.
It's amazing how much lecturing involves repetition. It involves kind of going over the same point, making it again. And that can be really effective rhetorically in a classroom. But in a video, it's not so effective. And sometimes we have to talk about rewriting, adapting the material for a completely different medium.
Wenn die Sachen nicht gut gemacht sind, wenn sie Fehler haben, wenn sie unsauber sind, dann zieht das automatisch von der Glaubwürdigkeit ab.
Und dann gibt es Fehler, die einfach als Fehler in den Vordergrund treten. Also Kostüm, Make-up gehört sicher auch dazu. Szenenbild gehört sicher dazu, wird ganz unterschätzt. Wenn ich in meinem Leben nie wieder einen Menschen vor einem Bücherregal sehen muss, dann ist es hinreichend.
Futurelearn also has the highest use of overvoice and outdoor, two rather more time-consuming production styles. On the other hand, within the video-style green screen, which is very time-consuming when done professionally to produce, Futurelearn has the lowest average.
Also man sieht es ja immer wieder, ne? Da wurde im Greenscreen gearbeitet und dann wurde das nicht vernünftig eingefügt. Also das sind halt so diese kleinen Sachen, damit glaube ich, könnte man noch leben. Aber diese erzwungene, wir machen das jetzt hier modern und anders, aber eigentlich ist das gar nicht modern und anders, sondern eigentlich ist das total 80er und 90er, ist sowas, was man ja in ganz, ganz vielen Kursen immer wieder findet.
Limitations of time, distance, and the facility with which it presents materials impossible to study constitute an unrivaled opportunity for the creative teacher in modern education.
So what was really nice is to see the progression, and what we're really starting to see is people are thinking about that content much more. How do I effectively use this medium to deliver educational content and educational materials in such a way that there is value, that you're not just simply sitting there watching a video, but rather you're using video in such a way, in whether that's a narrative way or that is taking somebody out of the classroom and taking them on location.
Wir wollen nicht so Standardkurse haben, in denen einfach irgendwo ein Professor aufgenommen wird, in einem Hörsaal oder irgendwo in einem Studio und wir kreieren so eine Videobibliothek. Also dass wir wirklich weitergehen und sehr, sehr viel Zeit und Ressourcen auch investieren, um wirklich gute, hochwertige Kurse zu gestalten, angefangen bei den Videos, weitergeführt über andere Materialien.
We offer quite a lot of guidance. We very strongly believe that Futurelearn is not just a content management system.
We will often look at content and make some assessments, but it's really up to our partners to make sure that they're developing something that they feel is brand specific and of a high enough quality. We will often provide feedback, and what we actually find is that that feedback is often very much appreciated. They're looking for that feedback.
Coursera is, as far as known, the only platform not to offer any video production advice. The MOOC platforms themselves do not produce videos, but most platforms give advice to universities on video production. These platform consultants have an influence on the production style. They also discuss and reflect the style of university-based producers. Further, it can safely be assumed that when a university decides to produce for a specific platform, The production team will also use the existing production styles on that platform as reference, or they decide for this or another platform because they are enthusiastic about the offered course quality. The talking head can still have a role in educational videos, but only if the speaker is really effective. This can even mean going back to the good old Greeks and Romans and grappling with the interplay of authenticity, performance, and the art of rhetoric. The camera itself becomes a player in this constellation. The classical orators didn't have to contend with it, so they can't help us here, and it changes the way rhetorical argumentation can be done. In the end, educators have to train themselves and reflect on their performance. The filmmaker's role is to provide at least a basic standard of lighting, framing, image and audio quality, but also to give feedback on the speech and the way the educator is presented. A talking head video creates a clear impression of the speaker, and the viewer forms a distinct opinion of that person. As MOOC videos are openly available for everyone, these videos will be out there in the world, colouring the public perception of an educator, just as his or her publications do. While we currently do not have sufficient data, it would be interesting to correlate the video styles with dropout rates. We would highly welcome access to such data, and are happy to share our data set with interested parties. More comprehensive insights about the perception of different video styles could be an interesting and necessary perspective on the further development of MOOC courses.